Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today this is my second college video, or video from college, and this as you can see here is a Southern Pacific GS4 Daylight number 4449. This one is made by MTH. As you guys may know, I've been wanting to get one of these GS4s for the longest time, and you know, the Bachmann version just couldn't cut it because the Bachmann version was lacking on details and many things they got wrong. For example, they painted the graphite smoke box black. The red they used is way too dark, and it's just lacking in detail in many ways. You know, the Mars light didn't work, for example, in their model, and so that just didn't cut it for me. So I also, if you guys don't know, the Bachmann version actually they just took tooling from Lionel when they used to make HO trains, and those are so old. Those are like, I don't know, 20-30 years old. Anyways, point being is there was only two manufacturers that made the GS4 that, in my opinion, was suitable for me. Brass would have been another option, but unfortunately, I suck at painting, especially something as complex as this with the silver lining and everything like that. It'd be too complicated for me to paint, so I just you know, brass I just couldn't afford to do that. Also, it's just too expensive. But anyways, so there was two manufacturers that would make a viable GS4 in my opinion, and that is MTH, which is what you see here, and Broadway Limited. Now, Broadway Limited's GS4 they only made one version, which was in Paragon 2. For some reason, they never brought it over to Paragon 3, at least not yet. And that engine is very detailed. It's actually more detailed than the MTH version. It has additional piping. It has like the headlight / Mars light, a wire. It has just more piping and detail overall, and it does look really nice. However, it is infamous for having an awful mechanism. The mechanism itself is fine, but for some reason the type of plastic they used for the motor mounts and the gears and stuff like that had some issues, and it always left a crack. So it's actually really hard to find a GS4 that has a working proper mechanism. And also, the second thing is that the LEDs they use for the Mars light headlight and, you know, the number boards and everything are very blue. They're not very white. They're more of a bluish tint, which is no good. And that's the reason why Broadway Limited GS4s are ones that are working and fine and, you know, not having any mechanical issues are super rare these days. In fact, one sold for $660, which is absolutely ludicrous in my opinion. But they are, you know, pretty nice. Now, the second option is the MTH version. The MTH version, I believe, is more accurate. It does have less details. You know, has less piping, but like it's more accurate in the sense that like the number boards are placed in the correct position. The front number boards, they aren't exactly correct, but they are better than the Broadway Limited version in my opinion. As you can see, there's a nice little bracket, the border around the number board, which Broadway Limited is lacking. This one does have it, however the shape of it is a bit too square. Another thing that's kind of lacking is the front pilot. As you can see here, the silver thing is kind of just painted on. It's supposed to be a separate piece that they put on to the real thing, so it should have depth. And the third thing is that it's lacking the bell, which should be underneath here. If you look closely at the Broadway Limited version or the real one, you'll notice there's a little tiny silver, or not silver, brass / yellow bell underneath here. That this one's missing. But besides that, for the most part, this is far more accurate. And the biggest thing is that it's far more reliable. MTH engines, you can say whatever you want about MTH engines. They have a really shady reputation in HO scale, but the one thing they always nail is the mechanism. They always run flawlessly, although some of them do run light, like they can't pull many cars. They over rely on the traction tires to get traction, but as far as their mechanisms go, they really rarely break. I've owned many MTH engines that for some reason every time I buy one, they're always damaged. But anyways, the mechanism is always fine. They're sprung drivers, the cam motor's silent, everything works perfectly fine. So anyways, the MTH engine is always a reliable source to get a GS4. So that's why I got this version. It also just looks beautiful, as you can tell. I mean, like, it's just, oh my god, it's so beautiful. It's such a nice looking engine, and I can't wait to bring this home to where I can attach it to my Broadway Limited Daylight cars. And yeah, so if you look at some of the details, another thing that MTH did really well is that they're very gimmicky. So this one, gimmicky in the sense that they have smoke. The newest version has a smoking whistle, which in my opinion is just kind of stupid. Well, it's not stupid, I shouldn't say that, but it's just not really I couldn't care less about a smoking whistle, in other words. But what they do have, they have the operating marker light, or Mars light. They have the operating headlight. The marker lights light up. The number board light up, and the cab light also lights up. Inside the cab, there's also an interior as a person, as well as some other what do you call it? A detail inside there, like the valves and stuff like that. What else? Oh yeah, so this, if you guys don't know, MTH made in total, I believe, 3 runs of this daylight. The very first run, the issues with that was, it was fine, it works fine and everything, but there are 2 main issues with that. One is that the whistle they used is a Norfolk and Western 611 Hooter whistle, which is wrong for the GS4. And the second issue is that the font that they write for the Southern Pacific on the tender is also wrong. It's a weird font. They definitely messed it up because it looks nothing like the real thing. The second run is what you see here. I can't say anything wrong about it. And the third one has, yeah, another whistle. So the second run has a new whistle, which sounds, in my opinion, more like the GS4, though I'm no Southern Pacific expert, but it definitely doesn't sound like the Norfolk and Western Hooter. So yeah, and then the third run, they changed the whistle again to an even deeper sounding whistle, and that's the one that, it looks more or less exactly like this, but it has the smoking whistle feature, which again, to me is kind of useless, so I didn't bother with the third run, because it costs more. So I figured I'd just get the second run. And yeah, so these things usually go for about $450 to $500 these days on eBay. They are slowly increasing in value, and I paid $365 for this. The guy was really nice. He asked for $400, but I gave him an offer of $365, and he was like, sure. Well, actually, I offered him $390, and he was like, no, it's fine. I'll give you a bigger discount. I'll give it to you for $365. Anyways, yeah, it looks awesome. He said it was used, but I honestly can't tell if it's used or not. It looks basically brand new. There's no, fingerprints on the paint. All details are present. The smoke unit looks like it was never been used before. It was primed, but it was not used. There's no layer of smoke oil over this engine. So in my opinion, as far as I care, it seems like it's brand new. The guy said he wasn't sure if it was new or used, but he listed it as used because he didn't want to mess anything up, which I totally understand. But yeah, so this engine, point being is, this engine is a second run. It has all the nice stuff, and it's not overpriced like the third run, the final run. And I got this now because MTH is going out of business, as you know, in 2021, and I'm assuming because the values of their engines are already increasing in value because of their rarity. I figured I'd get it now before they completely disappear, because once they completely disappear, their values are probably going to skyrocket. And in the off chance I'm going to sell this off, I don't want to lose money in selling it. So yeah. Anyways, this is just an update just to show you that I did buy this engine eventually. This is the most I've ever paid for an engine, $365. The second most was the Broadway Limited L1S, which I bought from a manufacturer. I didn't actually buy it from eBay. I bought it new, actually, from a hobby shop, and I paid $329, I think, for that. And then the next most I paid was like $200 something. So yeah, as you tell, I don't usually pay more than $300 for an engine. So this is definitely the most I've ever paid for one, and I think it probably will be the most until I purchased a Key Imports New York Central L2A, because those are super duper rare. So anyways, I digress. So yeah, just showing off this engine, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'm really excited to run this on my layout. I do have a little bit of track that I'll show a clip of it running, but it won't be, it won't be properly at speed. It'll just be kind of starting up and whatever. Anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.